So there are again in Patanjali, the Buddhists have about 10 niyamas, but that is for the people who have shaved their head and put on the saffron robe. So those niyamas let us leave. Ours is not an ashram sadhana, we are not doing ashram. Let us just deal with Patanjali. So Niyamas must be knowing what is the first discipline, the most important. Shaucha. Shaucha means cleanliness. Now, of course, it means physical cleanliness, though men and women have different notions of what constitutes physical cleanliness. Yeah, men don't really care to keep the house neat and clean. It's just a male vibration. Women simply have no clue about this. And so it is a universal power struggle, to get men to keep the house clean, to pick up around the house, to men don't mind letting the dishes pile up and scattering things all over the place. But please understand that it is just something that is part of being masculine. Men really, it does not matter to them. Neatness, tidiness does not matter. Men are slightly rumpled. Yeah, if they didn't have to go to work every day and if they didn't have to meet their girlfriend or whatever, they wouldn't even shave on a regular basis. So cleanliness, of course, external cleanliness is a very big thing. And one thing I've seen change in India in that houses are now tending to become very Spartan. Everything is tending to be put away. Everything is tending to be hidden, and so when you have a new house, the first thing is how much storage space, yes? Yeah. And even in Sex and the City, if you remember, one of the big things that Mr. Big does for Carrie is that he gives her this huge closet for her shoes, and it's all hidden away. Yeah. So it's a universal thing, that you can put everything out of sight and you can have very clean, uncluttered lines of sight. Because there is some psychological truth to that. There is some psychological benefit to that. If you go into a room where there are too many objects, you will feel that weight on your mind. Because each object has an energy impression which hits your mind. And you have to accommodate all those energy impressions. So if it is uncluttered, which is why the Japanese, basically it's because they had earthquakes all the time. So the Japanese are the only people who would get into their best clothes to go to sleep. Why? Because an earthquake could happen at any time and there would not be time to change. So they would actually wear, not now, but it used to be the common practice. And in Japan, there would be minimal, everything would be minimal. There would be no shelves that would be placed high, because in an earthquake, something that is placed on the shelf could come and hit your head. So everything, they learn to function from the low center of gravity. Why? Because the earthquake. But that cleanliness then became inherent in the Japanese mindset. So sometimes the environment forces it upon you. The environment forces it upon you. As little as possible. As little as possible, because you could lose everything. And the earthquake was not the problem. The problem was whenever there's an earthquake, lamps get knocked over and fires happen. So the maximum damage in earthquakes are usually caused by fires. So they learned not to invest their notions of success into things, into accumulating things, because every few years. So in that sense of Sauchata, but more important than physical or external cleanliness is mental cleanliness, is emotional cleanliness. To try and not have a dirty mind, to not have dirty emotions. Because many people are there, they are filthy people. Why do we say that somebody is a filthy person? It's not just that they are externally filthy, but that you feel repulsed by their energy, you feel repulsed by how they talk, you feel repulsed by how they act. That discipline is much more important. So one of the things they say in yoga is that just be vak tapasya, just control your speech. Don't blow your stack and indulge in abuses. Don't say abusive words. Don't say hurtful words. Don't say all that is cleanliness. Don't think negative thoughts, because as you grow deeper and deeper in yoga, you will start realizing that your thoughts are also things, and your thoughts can manifest very clearly. The more you do meditation and kriya, the more your thoughts can manifest. You can start creating your reality. Unfortunately, it's easier to manifest negative and dirty things than it is easier to manifest positive things. How much time does it take to destroy something? How much time does it take to create something? So that discipline of cleanliness is actually a very great thing, because your level of cleanliness in your mind, in your emotions, in your speech, in your external, in your physical appearance, it shows you with no sort of dispute in the matter, how far are you willing to go? How much effort are you willing to take? Very clearly. And how much self-discipline do you have? If you get angry, can you restrain yourself from erupting in abusive words? If somebody offends you, can you restrain yourself from thinking vicious thoughts about them? So at the deeper level of yoga, it is not about physical cleanliness. It is not about physical cleanliness at all. The physical cleanliness is good for the reasons I told you, because if there is dirt, then there is fungus. If there are too many objects, then each object has a residue, has an imprint on your mind. So the more you multiply objects, that many things are sticking to your mind, and you have to sit and work at removing that imprint. So it's not a grand thing to accumulate things. Collectors actually are people who feel little lost and lacking in themselves, so they accumulate things. They start expanding the number of things that they have. And so the more things, the more value. The more valuable I have become, because I collected these things. Now that is okay, it is an understandable reaction, but it's not a very sensible reaction. So that is Shaucha, Shauchata, that is the cleanliness